Hi guys, my name is Dan and I'm a massive fan of the Witcher series. I've been coming across a lot of newcomers to the Witcher series, or even fans who've played the first two games who are asking for more context about the world of the Witcher going into the Wild Hunt. I haven't found anything on YouTube so far that really gives a thorough response to that, so I put together a summary of the previous books and games to set the stage for the events that'll kick off as soon as we get our hands on the game on May 19th. Just a heads up before I get started, I'm going to try to avoid any major twists or spoilers that might become revealed over the course of the game, but I have no idea what will be introduced or revealed in Witcher 3, so since I'll be going over the backstory, it's possible that some of this might end up becoming mildly spoilerish to some of you. If you want to tap out before hearing too much, consider this your fair warning. Part 1. Yennefer. From the book's beginning, we're introduced to Geralt, who at this time is already a veteran professional monster slayer by the time the story begins. You probably already know what a Witcher is at this point, so I won't get into that in too much detail. Anyway, during one of Geralt's adventures, he finds himself fishing outside a town called Rind with his good friend Dandelion, a poet, minstrel, and all-around womanizing imbecile that Geralt sort of has taken a liking to over the years. Dandelion doesn't do very well hooking any fish, but he does pull an old jug out of the lake and realize it holds a trapped genie, or djinn, inside. Going against Geralt's warning, Dandelion actually frees the genie, expecting to be showered in fame, riches, and women. Like in most common folklore, in the Witcher world, a freed genie is required to grant his savior 3 wishes, but instead of listening to Dandelion, the incidentally hugely powerful genie strangles Dandelion to the point of near death, causing him to lose his voice, and flies away. Geralt rushes to Dandelion and gets him to Rind and starts asking around for help, and he learns that the only person powerful enough in magic to treat Dandelion's injuries is a mysterious and seemingly not well-liked sorceress named Yennefer, who's been staying in Rind and practicing magic despite it being outlawed within the town's gates. Geralt goes to Yennefer and they immediately don't get along, despite the fact that the two are evidently extremely attracted to one another. In their first meeting, the sexual tension is off the charts. Anyway, the two argue for a time, but in the end, Yennefer agrees to look at Dandelion's wounds. But eventually, Geralt realizes that in addition to healing Dandelion, Yennefer is planning to actually trap the genie, using Dandelion as bait. In the Witcher world, genies are basically untapped sources of magic, and if a sorcerer can trap and take control of one, they can multiply their power immensely. There are stories of previous sorcerers taking control of one of these genies and actually moving entire mountains with them. So Geralt, understanding that the genie will likely kill Yennefer while she tries this, runs off to stop her, but not before the genie has already been caught and is struggling wildly to free itself. In the ensuing carnage, the genie destroys half the town. Geralt and Yennefer exchange more than a few blows, while Dandelion has woken up completely safe and sound. Just before the genie actually strikes a killing blow against Yennefer, Geralt realizes the genie is tied to him rather than Dandelion, and actually has fulfilled 2 of his wishes already since their first encounter at the lake. He uses his final wish to protect him and Yennefer from the genie's last attack, and the genie flies off, finally free from his debt. It's never made clear what Geralt's wish actually is, but as soon as they're safe, Yennefer and Geralt immediately make love in the center of the town's wreckage. Readers tend to believe that Geralt tied his fate to Yennefer's in order to keep her safe, but whatever it was, from this moment on, Geralt and Yennefer begin their tumultuous relationship that lasts on and off for the rest of the series. They often cause arguments and long periods of separation between the two, before inevitably reuniting in the throes of passion and powerful lovemaking. Part 2. Ciri. One of Geralt's contracts takes him to a palace in Cintra, a powerful political landmark in the Northern Realms. The Queen of Cintra, Calanthe, is hosting a banquet to celebrate the birthday of her daughter Pavetta, and invites nobles from across the north to meet Pavetta and offer their hand in marriage. People from across the continent come to dine and see the princess firsthand. Geralt, on the other hand, doesn't really know what he's doing there at first. He reminds Queen Calanthe that he's not a soldier, bodyguard, or a bounty hunter for human targets, so he doesn't really understand why she called him, but she assures him she does have a task for him. As the banquet continues, an uninvited soldier named Dooney appears in full plate mail and claims he was promised Pavetta's hand in marriage by her own father, Queen Calanthe's husband, and he was coming to claim that right now that she has become of age. In The Witcher, there is a contract called the Law of Surprise, which basically goes, in exchange for helping you, I demand something of yours that you have but don't know about yet. Oftentimes, this ends up meaning a child, as fathers can go for long periods of time away from home before returning to find their wife had been pregnant before he left. Witchers are familiar with the Law of Surprise as well, as this is how they tend to recruit children to their schools, since mutations render them infertile, and they can't actually have kids of their own. Anyway, Duny claims that years ago, before Calanth's husband died, Duny saved her father's life and enacted the Law of Surprise. When the king returned home, he found that Calanth had given birth to Pavetta, thus committing her to him. Calanth admits that this is true, but refuses to honor the agreement and commands Duny to remove his helmet. When he does, it's revealed that Duny is covered in spines all over his face, making him look like some kind of monster, what they call an echidna. Calanth had hired Geralt to kill Duny when he arrived to take Pavetta away, seeing this coming. Geralt refuses, however, noting that Duny appears to be a person subject to a curse, not actually a monster. Duny confirms this too, and admits that he was cursed to look like that until he found his own true love. He tells the room that Pavetta is that love, and Pavetta finally speaks out loud for herself at this point and tells her mother that she does want to go with Duny, and admits that she loves him too. All of a sudden, a fight breaks out at Calanth's command, and a melee ensues. Geralt protects Duny from the nobles who attack him, but Pavetta suddenly lets out a shriek and the room starts to collapse. Chairs and tables start to fly around the hall, people are killed, it's utter chaos. Until finally someone is able to calm Pavetta down and the magical nightmare ends. Once everything is settled, Calanth regrettably allows Pavetta to marry the spiny soldier named Duny, and as soon as this occurs, Duny's disfigurement disappears and he goes back to looking like a regular person. As thanks for this, Duny offers Geralt anything that he wishes, and poetically, Geralt actually enacts the Law of Surprise on Duny and tells him congratulations. Pavetta was actually already pregnant, and the two lovebirds admit to themselves that they already had been having secret liaisons over the years. Obviously, one of these made a child. Duny agrees and promises their child to Geralt when the child is finally born, so Geralt could train the boy as a witcher. Several years and adventures later, we learn that Duny and Pavetta actually died at sea, leaving the promised child in the care of her grandmother, Queen Calanth. The child, of course, turns out to be Ciri, and when Geralt finds out that his promised child is a girl, he abandons the contract and refuses to take her in, as they only train boys to become witchers. Superstitious people believe the Law of Surprise creates a bond sealed by destiny, and anyone who breaks that bond faces the consequences. Some say destiny can't be avoided, while others say meddling with it can cause destruction. Geralt, on the other hand, is a major cynic who doesn't believe in anything at all, and so he immediately changes his mind and moves on, disregarding the warnings. He continues to take other jobs, but he repeatedly ends up facing Ciri one way or another, and eventually accepts that she is in fact destined for him. He takes her in to train as a witcher, but with the help of a friend of Yennefer named Triss Merigold, he learns that Ciri actually has immeasurably powerful magic, and scared of her wild power, the Witchers decide not to subject her to the mutations. They do continue to train her with a sword, and then send her away to school. Eventually, Yennefer agrees to teach Ciri how to control her magic and become a proper sorceress. What she learns is that Ciri actually has potential to become maybe the most powerful sorceress that's ever lived.